ball, finds a hole up the middle.
Steps up, goes deep left side, receiver open, counting, touchdown Titans! Takes a nice shot outside the goal box and he will break the 0-0 tie. Fantastic shot by Kenloff Solon.
Giller makes a move, a good one, opportunity here, the Bears score! The Bears strike first.
He's at the 40, he's down to the 30, the 20, 10, 5, touchdown, Jalen Bryant. Why not? What a beautiful run.
Maureen there, fights her off the puck, opportunity here, another sit, and a goal! Second chance effort for the Pioneers.
Put the icing on the cake, if you will, Michael. Go down and got to the outside and said good evening and good night.
Welcome TV19 sports fans. We are inside the gymnasium at White Bear Lake North Campus. I am Sam Erickson alongside a very special guest, White Bear Lake Athletic Director Tim Herman, to bring you this presentation of high school wrestling as we have the White Bear Lake Bears hosting the Roseville Raiders. Should be a great matchup here early season. You see the records with the Bears at 1-2, Roseville at 6-1. As I mentioned before, I'm Sam Erickson with Tim Herman, and we're doing a little bit of our pregame here. We're going to start off with a couple of wrestling rules and scoring. These are some of the individual scorings. You see 2 points for a takedown, 2 points for reversal, 1 for an escape, 2, 3, or 4 points for a near fall, and 1 or 2 points for some penalties. We'll get a little bit more into that as our broadcast
we'll help
goes
you through
on.
that if you're watching and it looked like it went pretty fast. We can figure it out for you, don't worry.
That's right. We'll have the whole broadcast to kind of bring you that. But Tim, why don't you tell us a little bit more about how the team scoring
Sure, I mean,
goes
that's
here
the
in high school
difficult
wrestling.
thing, or not the difficult, but the interesting thing I think about wrestling is you not only have individual match scores, but then you have team scores as well. So even what looks like an individual sport is a team sport, and there are different ways that we score that. For your team points, if you win a match by 7 or less points, you're going to get 3 points. If you have a major decision, which is 8 or more points, you get 4. You can go up to a technical fall where you beat them by 15, and then a fall counts 6. So we'll help you through the team scoring as well. Every one of the matches that are won by certain teams will have maybe a different level of score for the team, so we'll try to help you out with all that.
That's right. We'll have plenty of time to educate as things unfold here on the map, but we'll also take a look at the weight classes here in the state of Minnesota, ranging from 106 and then going all the way up to that heavyweight at 285.
14 different weight classes. Everybody weighs in at the beginning of the season to kind of determine where they're going to be placed, and then before each match they're asked to weigh in again to make sure they've made weight and they're in that area that is acceptable for their weight class.
And so after the look at those weight classes, we'll take a little bit closer look at our matchup here tonight. And you see there Roseville on December 2nd defeated Champlain Park 57-22, beat Irondale 60-22. Then on the 3rd, they won 4, lost 1 in the tournament at St. Paul, Washington. And then you see the White Bear Lake Bears on the December 4th. They beat Elk River 58-15 and then lost to Buffalo 43-26 and Cambridge Isani 40-25. So as we mentioned, still a little bit early season here as the wrestling gets started in winter. Excited to see what these two teams can do here tonight.
This actually, even though it's such an early season match, is pretty important for 2 reasons. One, it's a conference match. It's the first conference match of the season for both teams, and they're both in the same section in wrestling. So it's a section kind of a lineup too. They're going to match up and see later on when they go to figure out the teams and how the pairings go and the seedings for section. This match will be an important one. Whoever wins this will have a leg up on the other one.
Definitely 2 schools with a long history of a healthy and competitive rivalry. We'll get ready to duel it up on the mat here in a minute. But we're going to take a look at some of the Roseville wrestling. Kind of a tradition they do in Roseville is making team posters, and we'll take a look at a couple of those. It's kind of something they do they hang them up inside the gym, and to motivate their teammates, and just kind of a fun thing for the team to get into, and a little bit of camaraderie.
I think every wrestling coach does a little promotion to make sure that their kids have some fun wrestling. If you wrestle correctly, if you really train hard as a wrestler, I don't think there's any sport that's more difficult if you're doing it right. Wrestling, the training for wrestling is very difficult.
Yeah, not to mention the physical and mental grind. And we said it is an individual sport, but you see there the team aspect always involved here at the high school level. We'll get ready to duel it up on the mat. We'll have the start of the meet between Roseville and White Bear when we get back. Hope you stay with us.
Ever since it's been around, just a spoonful of menthol helps the poison go down.
Smoke-related illness is killing us, disproportionately black men and youth.
Far surpassing any other drug, disease, or car crashes. And it's no accident.
The ashtray leads to our ashes.
Sin embargo, esa no es la historia que ustedes nos cuentan. Ustedes, con sus anuncios, disfrazan el sabor de la muerte. Ustedes no nos dicen las tasas de la mortalidad, tampoco nos dicen lo que vamos a pagar, la deuda por cada aliento.
You're betting on us to ignore the Surgeon General's warning.
You improve profit margins when you profit off those in the margins, making us think you're our friends by giving us a bargain.
Like a van, parked out on the corner giving away free sample cartons.
It's all addictive, and menthol makes quitting even harder.
It's disgusting to see how you focus your campaign on the young, black, and dumb.
That's the way you described us, saying the younger the better. Black lungs don't matter, as long as our pockets get fatter. We don't smoke it, so it don't matter.
We're not buying these lies you're telling us. It's all just smoke, you're blowing us.
RJ Reynolds said he'd never smoke it, but he's selling it to us. Sponsoring our favorite concerts, movies, and magazines. But we're here to tell you that we're on to your scheme. We see the ugly truths behind the smoke screen, the beautiful lies that we won't believe.
Stop selling us these beautiful lies and ugly truths.
Cause we ain't buying them.
Cause we ain't buying them.
Cause we ain't buying them.
Cause I ain't buying them.
Welcome back, TV19 sports fans. Getting ready to get things underway here at the North Campus at White Bear Lake. As you see, White Bear Lake playing host to Roseville Raiders in high school wrestling here on TV19. The lights are dimmed here in the gymnasiums. We're just getting ready to get things underway. Referee talking things over with a few of the wrestlers. I am Sam Erickson, joined alongside a very special guest, White Bear Lake Athletic Director Tim Herman. How are you doing this evening, Tim?
Pretty doggone good. It's a pleasure to be here, and hope I can help a little bit with the wrestling explanation, and we'll all kind of learn tonight.
I think you've already helped us out with our pregame, and look forward to you educating us along the way.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Well, my first question for you, Tim, any idea why they dim the lights here?
Yeah, we do that all the time, and that's kind of a big deal at a lot of places where we kind of bring that spotlight down and everything shines on that wrestler, the wrestlers on the mat, and that's really puts the focus in, and it's kind of fun for the kids to be out in that situation.
So the wrestlers will compete in this lighting?
Yep, this is the way it goes. And this is normal in a lot of different spots.
So say sometimes you see that at the collegiate level. A lot of times the arenas are dimmed, the seating areas, I should say, with the spotlight on the athletes. We are ready to go here.
106 match. Yang for White Bear and Wozeniela for Roseville, and that's a 2-point takedown for Yang.
So he gets 2 points for the takedown. Now in the offensive position. Wozeniela in the defensive position now. Is there a way for the wrestler in the defensive position to get a score from?
No, he's got to get out, and that's what he's working. He's really defending to try to get to the point where there's no action. He can get a stalemate, and they get back and get back in the middle of the mat and go to work. But White Bear wrestler's got he's got a great position. He's going to get some back points there, near fall points. Looks like 3 points for Yang once that hold is broken. Still in the same situation, really close to the pin. Just needs to put pressure on that chest, and he's going to be in great shape.
Now, how would you get that pin? You have to get those shoulder blades.
The shoulder blades have to be touching the mat, and there it is, pin for Yang. Really a great start for the Bears. I know Coach Coach Nasvik, the head coach at White Bear, was a little concerned. He knew that Yang was physical, but he needs a lot of technique work, and that was a great way to start for the Bears.
Yeah, a little undersized in that matchup as well, but does a nice job getting the takedown right away and eventually getting the pinfall. Now, you mentioned he got the pin.
So that's
Do you need to hold that for an amount of time, or is it as soon as you?
It's really just about a second. That when your shoulder blades are both on the mat, the referee's going to call it. Okay, so we're into the 113-pound match, and this looks like Josh Powell for White Bear Lake, and I think this is Will Sagstetter for Roseville, but I'm not 100% sure. We've got a couple of weights for White Bear where we have really inexperienced wrestlers. This is one of them. We really have kind of two in a row that our kids are active, but they're not real experienced, so they may be giving up some points. There's an easy takedown for Roseville, and they're up 2-0 on the match.
See some of that inexperience coming into play. Turner is a junior, but probably a little bit new to the sport.
Well, I will tell you this: if you haven't been involved in wrestling for a long time and you try to come out as as an older wrestler, the 1-point escape for Powell, that's good. Match score, the match score is 2-1. But it's such a technical sport that you can't, you can have all the greatest effort and passion and desire you want, but if you're not a technician, you're going to be in trouble, and you need that experience. Nice takedown by the Roseville wrestler. He's really got Powell in a difficult position. You see the referee counting off for back points. It looks like he had enough for 3 near fall points right there, and Powell is in trouble. He's going to have to work to keep those shoulder blades off the mat. He's really got to keep spinning, and I'm telling you what, there the Roseville wrestler's doing it right. He's got great pressure. He's leaning back, trying to get his weight to get those shoulder blades back for the Bears, and he's real close.
Yeah, really tiring out Powell. I misspoke a little bit ago. Powell is a freshman.
Yeah, his brother wrestles and has had a lot of experience, but this young man is pretty green. But he'll learn.
Now,
and it takes a few of these matches to kind of understand what you need to do as a wrestler to stay out of trouble, first of all. All right.
So
into the first period, the score 4-1. Roseville leads. The team score right now is 6-0 because of that pin in the first of the 106-pound match.
Yeah, you can see on our score there in the bottom third, we do have the current match score with Powell going against Sagstetter. You see the 7-1 lead for Sagstetter, and then the team score is there right underneath. Right. White Bear Lake with the 6-0 advantage. We're going to start with the second period, and Powell is going to be in the offensive position. Now, I heard you mention, Tim, about a near fall. Can you explain that a little bit more?
When the offensive wrestler gets his opponent in a position where he exposes his back to the mat but is not in a pinning situation, the referee, just like he's doing now, will count off. If he gets to 3 or more, I think it's 3, that's my inexperience, but he'll get to a certain count and he'll be able to get 3 near fall points. If he doesn't make it to 3, I think it's maybe 5, and if he gets to 3, then he gets 2 near fall points. So there's different ways to score.
You see Powell there resisting the pin and the near fall, trailing 9-1, as Sagstetter was able to get a couple near fall points here in the second period. And we saw a pinfall in the first match.
Yeah, we saw.
But there are other ways to win.
Yep, we saw a fall. And if we can get technical decisions, you get a major decision, you can get a regular decision. All of those are different team points for whomever wins that match.
And a decision is if the match goes the full period and no fall is...
there's no fall recorded, then you're going to go look at the match points and decide where you're at. But this, again, is a fall for Roseville, and that will take the team score 6-6.
And you mentioned a major decision versus a minor decision.
It's really there's a decision, a major, and a technical. That's the way it goes up. So any kind of a decision that is less than 8 points in an individual match is going to be 3 points. If it goes from 8 to 14, you're going to get a major decision, which is 4 points for the team. If you get a technical decision, which is 15 or more points ahead at the end of the match or during the match, then it is a technical fall and you get 5 points for your team. So there's this is the 120-pound match. Wrestling for the Bears is Sam Adair, and I think this is Jared Raskin wrestling for Roseville.
Adair, a freshman as well, so a couple of youngsters starting it off for White Bear Lake. Successful in the first match, lost the second one, but we're tied here at the team score, so big one going on right now.
Well, again, this is another weight class where the Bears are a little lacking in experience. And so we may see that as far as the technique goes. And if the Roseville wrestler's fairly experienced, he'll be able to take advantage of that pretty quickly. He's got a lock on that leg, but no points as of yet. White Bear Lake wrestler's doing a good job defending.
Jared Ruskin for Roseville Raiders also listed as a freshman, so a couple wrestlers new to the varsity scene here.
2-point takedown for Roseville, and they lead 2-0.
You will see on the wrist, a couple wrist guards on the referee, one green, one red, kind of corresponding to the wrestlers where they start on the mat. There's also green and red tape, and whenever that referee raises the arm, the points will be rewarded to that wrestler.
Actually, that begins at the very beginning. There's a coin flip with a red and a white coin, and that determines who's who and who gets choice. There's a 1-point escape by the White Bear Lake wrestler. Score is 2-1. Still Roseville in the lead, but going back to those red and white, so you look on the ankle of each one of the wrestlers, and one wrestler has green, one wrestler has red, so that, yes, you're exactly right. When they score, when something happens, that official will dictate by putting his hand up with the corresponding color of the wrestler that's either getting points or perhaps getting a caution.
There's the end of the first period, 2-1, close. 2 points for the takedown for Ruskin from Roseville, 1 from an escape for Adair. And we are going to start off period number 2. It looks like we're going to start in the neutral position. And who kind of decides how the second period starts?
It will be the wrestler who they determine by a flip who gets the choice, and the wrestler can either choose or he can defer, and if he defers, the other wrestler then makes a choice. If he decides he wants to make the choice, he makes it. So the wrestlers make the choices, but you'll see the coaches have a huge part of that decision. Oh, nice takedown by Adair. He's
got a couple near fall points there as well, I believe.
Looks like 3 points for near fall.
Scoreboard has him now at 6-2. Adair in the lead.
Looks like a potentially dangerous hoop. In fact, that might have been an illegal hold. So it looks like Adair was penalized 1 point.
A little bit of the inexperience showing there. You said that was up for a dangerous hold?
Potentially dangerous, yep. So sometimes a referee will stop it and not award any kind of points. But if it's an illegal hold, then he'll award points to the person who had the hold put on him illegally.
And that is why you see Ruskin getting awarded the point. Another point goes Ruskin's way as we're at 6-4.
Yep, on his escape. He gets a point for the escape, and now they're both back up.
Under a minute left to go here into the second period. And how many periods do they do here in Minnesota? 3 periods?
Yep.
Are they the same length of time, all 3?
The first period's shorter, I think. You're going to have to check me on that. The last 2 are 2 minutes. I think the first one may be 1, but that might be old school stuff.
I was going to say, well, we'll have an opportunity most likely to see how it all works.
Yeah, we will. There's no doubt.
We're going to have a few.
I hate to stumble through some of this stuff, but it's been a while since nobody asked me those tough questions. I just watched the match.
Well, you're here to educate us. You're doing a great job of it. I'm learning a lot as well. There's a reason they don't have me here as the expert, so we really appreciate you being here, Tim.
Got to work hard at the end of the end of the period. Oh, he gave up 2 points. Nice job by Adair. Excuse me. Yep.
You saw those 2 points coming in right at the end of the period.
That's great to score at the end. You can score at the end. You really make that tough on your opponent. Now Adair's up 8-4.
He's going to start in the defensive position here in the third and final period.
Yep, the Roseville, I'm not sure who had the choice, but whoever, I mean, if we had the choice, then we chose down, and it puts a lot of pressure on the up wrestler to do something to score. It's harder sometimes to score. If you can really defend from the down position, it's great. But
especially when you have a lead like Adair does.
But you look right, okay, so there's an illegal hold by the Roseville wrestler. So now there's 1 point awarded to Adair from White Bear Lake.
And they'll return to that same position they started the period off. And now a lot of times, you know, you say that it can be the wrestler's choice how they start out. Do they sometimes go to their strength, you know, if you're better at escaping or better at, you know, being in control and, you know, in the offensive position?
Just for people watching right now, that was a technical point awarded to White Bear Lake because the Roseville wrestler was clasping his hands, and you can't do that unless you're in a certain position. So that clasp cost him another point. Adair gains that point, and so now 10-4 with Adair leading about midway through the third period.
And nearly getting points here for an escape. Ruskin doing a good job getting back on top in the offensive position.
Yeah, Adair just needs to work away from the pressure or into the pressure, and then he also needs to try to get up. I mean, I think that's what coach is talking to him. Let's get up. Let's get out of that. He's in a difficult position right now, but a mistake by the Roseville wrestler makes a 2-point reversal for Adair. 2 more points in his match. He's now up 12-4.
And that could be big. That could be a major decision if the score stays this way.
And it looks like he got 3 near fall points as well. So now it's going to be
it's like 15-4. It is in fact 15-4.
He's doing a great job. That was a big reversal there. Really puts the pressure on the Roseville wrestler now. 24 seconds left in the period. I think the key for the White Bear wrestlers, don't do anything foolish. He's trying to get that cradle going for the pin. Can't quite get his hands together. Just needs to be careful. Get up too high and you can get into trouble. And when you're up 15-4, that's something that you don't want to lose because your technique was poor. Big win for Sam Adair, 15-4, and he won by more than 8 points, but less than 15, so he gets a major decision, and that team-wise will be 4 points for the Bears. So right now it's 10-6 going into the 128-pound match with Jarrell Turner.
Jarrell Turner, the junior from White Bear, going to be wrestling at 126.
I think this is Kwai Do from Roseville.
Freshman from Roseville. So see how Turner, the junior, will handle that.
Jarrell was has been a JV wrestler the last couple of years. Really has had some success at that level, but it's a big jump up. But he's in good position with his cradle right here. He's going to definitely get some near fall points, some back points. Looks like he'll have 3. Right. So now he's up 5-0 with that 2-point takedown and a 3-point near fall. Gives him 5-0. And the first period, the second period, and third period, I just realized are all two minutes long. So now we know that for sure. And we're midway through that first period. Jarrell's up 5-0.
Jarrell on top now in the offensive position. Now, you mentioned takedown. What makes it an official takedown when both wrestlers are in the neutral position?
Well, you need to be able to control. You're either behind or on top of your opponent in a control position. He doesn't have a leg, or he doesn't. So it's a little difficult for me to explain.
It's not just a matter of if the wrestler goes to the floor.
No, there's
more to it than that.
The one of the opponents has to have control. If he has control of his opponent when they were both starting in the neutral position, or if he was in the down position and his opponent was in the up position and they reversed, once you get control, you're going to get some points.
You see Turner trying to flip him.
Yep, he's got.
Get some of those near fall points.
You can see the official counting. Right now he'll get 2, it looks like, unless he can continue this hold and get back to that near fall position. But he's going to get 2. He'll get 2 back points for that near fall.
You saw the referee there. I don't know if you could see referee kind of waiting. He had the 2 points ready to show to the scorer's table.
Nope.
And that'll be a pinfall. Turner able to get both the blades onto the ground. That'll be 6 more points to White Bear as they open up a lead.
Nice job there. Really finished off. Got him in that position where he was getting back points, and then was able to put enough pressure on to get the fall. Great job.
Yeah, pretty much in control
that's a big
all
win.
the way.
You know, I know that Coach Nasvik was a little concerned early on just because of the experience of his kids. He was hoping that he was going to be able to be holding his own, but right now the Bears are up 16-6, and they're wrestling pretty doggone well.
Yeah, that one at the 126 weight class was really not in doubt. Now we're going to move up to 132. As we get the first period underway.
It appears this is Lowell and Baker. Lowell for the Roseville Raiders and Baker for the Bears. Baker got a takedown quickly and then released him so that the Roseville wrestler got 1. There's another 2-point takedown. See the control by the Bear wrestler. That allows him to get that 2-point takedown. All right, so there was an escape by the Roseville wrestler. He gets 1 point for escape, not 2 because he didn't have control as they went out of bounds.
Yeah, you may have heard the referee said loss of control, and 1 point is what he rewarded.
Yep. 2-point takedown by Baker, and gets him in that position.
Got a couple near fall points.
Yep, he's got, and he's back in that position, still at 2. He's going to give him 2 points, 2-point near fall.
That'll open up the match score to 8-2 with Isaiah Baker leading junior here for White Bear Lake. This is the 132-pound weight class.
1-point escape, Roseville.
Aiden Lowmall for Roseville wrestling at this weight class, listed as a sophomore.
About 30 seconds left. There's another 2-point takedown. Good quickness by the Bear wrestler right now. Really is what's causing a lot of problems. He's in great shape to get a pin. You can see that the near fall points are being counted off. He's going to have at least 3. He's got 13 seconds left in the first period. Try to get that fall. He's in great position. Just can't quite get. Oh, he's close.
Yeah, you see Coach Nosvik off of his chair, really encouraging the wrestler.
3-point near fall.
Yeah, it looks like Baker not able to get the fall before the period ends, but did get some of those more near fall points, opening up the lead to 13-3 going into period number 2. We'll see how they started off. Looks like it's going to be in the neutral position.
Yep, and you could see Baker had the choice. He chose the neutral position, so the next period, if there is one, the Roseville wrestler will have the choice.
And that means that the Roseville wrestler had the choice to start this match?
Yeah. No, they flip the coin. Everybody starts in the neutral position to start with, and then period 2 and period 3, you get your choices depending on whose choice it is based on the flip.
I knew as soon as I said that they started in the neutral position. That was a
nice
dumb question.
Quick move, 2-point takedown by Baker. He's piling up the points.
Yeah, making it 15-3 now. If it ended this way, it would be a major decision. 4 more points going to White Bear Lake. If he gets it to a 15 or more.
Technical fall.
That'll be a technical fall. That's 5 points.
And they would stop it right at that point. And then I think they're really going for the pin. They'd like those extra points. He's in great position right here. Pretty good weight distribution. Really working to try to get that. He's working his chest down on those shoulders, and he's working them pretty good.
You've seen all night, most of the White Bear wrestlers been in great position in their matches, controlling.
All right, so now here we go. It's a 3-point near fall, makes it 18-3, 15-point differential. They stop the match. and White Bear Lake will get 5 points for a technical foul. So that you've seen just about everything now. That's a nice move. Isaiah really had a great match. Really, from the very get-go, was in control. Really felt, really looked well balanced. I really thought his balance looked great. He really was confident in what he was doing. That's a great job by him.
Some good-looking stuff from White Bear Lake here early on in this one. They lead at 21-6 after we were tied 6-6 after 2 of the matches. Now we're going to go up to the 138 weight class, I believe.
Well, Chris Thury is working for White Bear Lake here, but I'm not exactly sure the Roseville wrestler. I didn't hear it announced, so I'm not 100% sure.
And we do have Chris Thury from White Bear Jr. here at 136. Excuse me, 138.
38, yeah. You'll see this quite a bit when the wrestlers are both up. They really are fighting for hand position, trying to get that inside position with their hands. If you're a Greco wrestling kind of guy, you'll see this a lot. They really work that inside position with their hands so that they can get in position for a throw. Nice shot by Thury, and the referee gives him control because the wrestler was down on the mat. So 2 points for Thury, 1 point escape for the Roseville wrestler.
And that is another way. Throw is another way for a takedown. Is that another way to get 2 points? Is a throw technically a takedown? Or
well, in collegiate style, you still have to be in control, and you have to make sure you've gotten the wrestler onto the mat from the neutral position. So you have to be in control, and he has to be on the mat. He has to have a knee touch the mat or something like that in order to gain those points.
I'm sure the throwing aspect probably isn't included in high school.
Yeah. That's Greco stuff, and that
safety
becomes
reasons, maybe
that becomes a dangerous thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a stalemate. Both wrestlers back to their spots on the mat. Stalemate meaning neither one of them are able to move and continue to control. So the referee brings them back to the starting point.
Sometimes you see when they're at the neutral position, they go in and kind of grapple with each other head to head.
Yeah.
What is the idea there?
Like I said, they're trying. There's a great shot. He just doesn't quite follow through. He's trying to get control.
Good
there he goes.
From the Roseville
now he's
wrestler,
got a great. Yeah. So really, the hand fighting. Oh, nice job right at the end of the period too to gain those 2 points. It's like he's up 6-2 going into the start of the second period. Going back to that hand fighting, it really is either to try to get yourself in position for an upper body or to get the wrestler that you're competing against off balance so you can shoot and get a lower body of those legs somehow. There's a lot of different ways to use that neutral position to your advantage.
Definitely when you're in that neutral position, a lot of times you see wrestlers shooting for those legs.
Yep.
I mean, that's going to be the primary way you're going to have takedowns is taking out the legs.
1 point escape.
And that escape goes to Chris Thury of White Bear, opening up his lead to 7-2 here. Second period, got 1:30 left to go in the 2-minute period. So everything looking good for White Bear Lake in the early going of this one. Leading on the team scoreboard 21-6, and leading in the 138-pound weight class match right here 7-2. And it has been good, Tim. Like you said, we've kind of seen a little bit of everything. We've seen a fall, seen a major decision, a technical fall.
Yep. Yeah, this has been a pretty good match so far. You've seen several different styles from different wrestlers. Usually the lower weights are a little quicker. You're going to see some more shots, those kinds of things. There's a nice shot and a 2-point takedown again for Chris Thury from White Bear Lake. Up 9-3 with about 35 seconds left. There's a purposeful escape. He lets him go. He wants to set him up, see if he can score some more points. So a lot of times you'll see that if the wrestler's confident that he can score points and he wants to keep the match going, he'll release the wrestler that he has. The wrestler that is released gets 1 point, but now we get a chance, Thury gets a chance to jump in there and get 2 points for a takedown.
That's definitely a wrestler that would be confident in this position, wanting to work from that neutral
position. Working hard. 9 seconds left. He gets a 2-point takedown.
And you've seen 30 already with a few of those.
And he gets 2 points for near fall. So there's a lot of points piling up right at the end. And that's one of the things that, I mean, I think a lot of wrestling coaches will talk about scoring at the end of the period. Don't you get scored on. You want to be scored. Be the one that's scoring. So it's 13-3, 2 minutes left in the start of the third period. It's like we're having a little problem on the mat.
Yeah, I've got to do a little repair work. Coach out there even repairing the
mat. A little hole. That's never a good thing.
Especially not when you're the athletic director, right?
Yeah. Well, we'll have to talk to Coach Nasvik about how he's going to handle that.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, these are fairly new mats, too. I mean, you just never know. There's a lot of traction and torque that takes place on the mat, and sometimes you can get a little spin in there and get a hole like that real quickly.
Oh, for sure. Not to mention, some of the equipment as well. The headgear. I mean, it is rounded off, but that's still plastic, so I'm sure some of that stuff can cause some issues with the mats. But things look beautiful in here, Tim. So, done a great job.
I will tell you that Coach Nasvik does a great job of taking care of his wrestling stuff. I mean, whether there's a 2-point takedown again and a release for an escape point for the Roseville wrestler. But Coach does a great job. He has great pride in this wrestling program. He wants to make this as great a sport for his kids and also for the spectators. I mean, he likes to make this kind of a spectacle, and it's a great thing. It really is. This is a special thing. The only varsity sport that really calls North Campus its home.
Yeah, my first experience here at the North Campus. And enjoying it so far.
This used to be the high school. I actually graduated from this high school. North Campus was the only high school for quite a while. Then they built Mariner, and now South Campus is the old Mariner building. So that's the 11th and 12th grade building. This is the 9th and 10th grade building.
And we're ready to resume things here. Point awarded to Roseville. I believe it was for a dangerous hold. Or dangerous play.
I think he brought him down too hard to the mat. That's, we talk about those throws. You have to be real careful when you have those wrestlers in a real vulnerable position. You have to be careful, just like that, of how you take them down. If you take them down too hard or put them in a dangerous spot, you're going to get a point taken away.
I think that's something the average fan of wrestling, or the average observer of wrestling, maybe doesn't understand all the technique that's involved. A lot of times it looks like it's just people rolling around on the mat, but you really don't understand how complex what's going on.
I really think it is. Now, I never wrestled. I watched a lot of people wrestle. My sons wrestle, and I just am amazed at how technical it is. There's so much, and it's balance and body position and where your hands are and how you do certain moves and where you need to be. See, now he got.
There's a reversal.
Yeah, you have to have a great sense of where your body is and how you are related to that opponent of yours. It's a tough sport.
So White Bear wins another one, 19-7. 30 wins it on points. That'll be 5 points awarded. Excuse me, that'll be 4 points. Should be 5 points.
Let's see, 19-7.
That's 12. That'll be.
So it's a major decision.
Not
right.
a technical foul.
Right.
That'll be 4 points awarded to the White Bear. See, I'm starting to pick it up too.
You're getting it.
And it's 25-6 now. White Bear in the lead. You're talking about how difficult wrestling really is. I feel that same way. I mean, just the physical ability to be able to kind of control your body in that way, and then also the mental strength to kind of be in the defensive position and stick with it enough.
We need to talk a little bit about that, but what I want to say about our White Bear wrestler here, this is Matt Mudeking, and he's probably the most experienced wrestler we have. He's been to the state tournament in a team way, and he was in the state tournament as an individual. And if there's a guy that knows his technique and has the quickness, this is one guy you'll watch. So you'll see him do a lot of takedowns. He'll release and then come back and get another takedown as well. This is probably our most experienced wrestler.
Yeah, this is Madikin wrestling at 145. He is a senior. So first senior we've seen on display here for White Bear Lake. No wonder, as you mentioned, he's got the experience and a little bit of skill to go along with it.
There's no doubt that he does. Matt has been wrestling for years and years. He had an older brother that was a very, very good wrestler and has helped assist as a coach here. So he knows he's seen his brother wrestle. He's wrestled a ton. He knows exactly what to do on the mat. You'll watch him. He's very confident. And I will say this, that 145 weight class is a tough weight class. If you get into the sectional tournaments and state tournaments, 145 is a class that you really need to know your stuff.
I could envision a lot of high school athletes being around that weight class. So I'm sure it's very competitive. A lot of wrestlers in that weight class.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting as well too. There's a nice takedown. It already looks like it's 8-3 lead with about 17 seconds left in the first period. You know, the funny thing as you go up the weight classes a little bit, you start to see different types of body types wrestling. It could be real tall and thin. It could be shorter and more thick. And so it's just kind of fun to see how all these different people kind of match up as you go. I think this is kind of where it really starts, 145 or 152, 160. Those are, you get a lot of different types of wrestlers.
We did kind of see that in our first match where, kind of a taller, lankier wrestler against a shorter wrestler from White Bear.
You know, the interesting thing about those real low weights is that sometimes you're going to get really young kids wrestling. You might get a 7th or 8th grade wrestler, and sometimes you're going to get a senior in there that has maintained that smaller size, and it's really interesting to see how that works when you get a really veteran senior and a real young 7th or 8th grader. It can be a mismatch, but it's fun to watch because it's a real lesson for those younger wrestlers to watch those and work against those experienced kids.
I was going to say, it's got to be a great learning opportunity for those young kids. You know, a lot of times those kids, I guess, are intending to move on into higher weight classes as they develop.
I think the hard thing about wrestling is that it's just you out there against the other person, and it's easy when you win. But when you lose, it's very difficult. And I think the kids that I really love to see are the kids that give their all, maybe come up short, but are able to shake hands with their opponent, walk off the mat, and have learned something from the experience. And I've seen a lot of wrestling, so a lot of wrestlers have trouble keeping their composure if they don't win or they don't do something they think they want to do. And I don't know how much they really learn from that difficult loss, but wrestling, you really have to be composed throughout the match and at the end as well.
I think you make a really good point there, Tim. I think that's one of the benefits of sports in general, kind of what it can teach you about how to deal with things, adversity, and maybe things, even though you're trying so hard, things maybe not going the way you would have wanted, learning how to deal with things like that, because that certainly comes up as you go on in life.
Well, I think at White Bear, I will tell you this, and I think around the state of Minnesota, all of our coaches understand that, sports don't really build character. I think it's the coach that intentionally does things to help the kids understand those lessons and to learn. You can't just expect young kids to understand how to do some things, whether it's walk off the mat with your head high even though you lost, those kinds of things. You have to teach those kids those things. And I think the really successful coaches are the coaches that not only teach great technique in this situation, but also take time to intentionally teach kids about character strength.
Yeah, and I think that's definitely should be something they look at as another part of their job. It's not only teaching that sport that they're coaching, but also teaching some of those life lessons.
Yeah,
I think the coaches here at White Bear Lake do a fantastic job. You see that with the great athletes that the schools produce.
Well, I will say this, that our coaches understand that they have a job not only to be a coach of their sport, but they need to be able to coach that young man or that young woman so that they walk out of their programs with better character strength than when they walked in, and they're more character strong because of the wrestling or the basketball or whatever. But if our coaches are intentional about doing that, it just doesn't happen.
Yeah, very good stuff. Getting back to the action, it's a 15-5 lead here for Muddigan.
Matt Mudeking, third period, about a minute and 20 seconds left. Again, showing his quickness, great two-point reversal or takedown. I guess I wasn't paying as much attention to that as I was the scoreboard. But I'll tell you what, Matt's quick and also has great strength, and he uses his balance, understands his position body-wise, and really is doing a nice job. He's taking it to the Roseville wrestler right now.
Yeah, something you mentioned right away as this match got started is the confidence of King, and you see it anytime they start, the whistle goes, he's ready to attack. He's not hesitating. He has, his plan in mind, and he's ready to, execute.
Yeah, the nice thing is he also knows the counters. He feels what's happening with the other wrestler and what the other wrestler wants to do, and really has a good feel for how he needs to counter those kinds of moves that are coming up from his opponent. Looks like the Roseville wrestler just got a point deducted, or actually a point given to the White Bear Lake wrestler because of stalling.
And stalling, that can be called, is that because he's backing away and out of the ring?
Yep, backing up and not initiating any kind of contact with the other wrestler.
Is there any other instances where a stalling might be called and a point awarded to another wrestler?
Sure. I mean, if let's say you're on top and are not doing anything from that position, you can get a stalling call as well.
So you kind of, they're encouraging you to continue wrestling the entire time.
Yeah, they want you to, the officials are there to keep the action going. And if you're not doing that, then you're going to get penalized for it. 2 points right at the end.
And
I think that gave him 22-7, so it's 15 points. That means it's a
technical fall.
Technical fall, you bet.
And that will be 5 points awarded to White Bear. Their lead increasing once again. This time we are now at 30-6 as we're getting ready to wrestle at the 152-pound weight class. So White Bear successful at all weight classes except for 113. They lost by a pinfall. That is what gives Roseville their 6 points, but 30 points for White Bear. Couple pinfalls, couple technical falls, and a major decision.
I think we're having a break for a raffle. Another promotional idea by Coach Nasvik.
I was going to say, I wasn't sure if White Bear was going to forfeit one of these weight classes, but yeah, I think you're right. Just have a momentary break in action here. And with that, I guess we will take the time to remind our viewers of Sports Path. We do that live every other Wednesday at 7 p.m. here on TV 19, hosted by yours truly. On that show, of course, we update you with all the highlights, standings, and all the other information you need to know about your teams here in the East Metro. Well, after that short break, we are ready to rock here in 152 weight class. And the first period is underway.
I think for wrestling for Roseville at 152, I think this is Peyton Nelson, and for White Bear is Carlos Castro. And I will tell you that talking to Coach Nasvik, this will be an interesting match. Carlos is a pretty inexperienced wrestler, but he's got a lot of passion for the sport, and you'll see a lot of effort. But I don't know technique-wise if he knows exactly where he's at yet. So he's going to be one of those guys that are going to be learning.
Carlos Castro did have a pin against Elk River last week. Loses 2 points after the takedown from Peyton Nelson from Roseville. Peyton Nelson, a senior here on this Roseville team, so that experience might cause some trouble there for Carlos Castro.
Yeah, the book on Castro is that he's very aggressive, but he's still kind of looking to find his identity as a wrestler. Is he a guy that shoots? Is he an upper body wrestler? So it's his second year of wrestling. He's a little inexperienced, but as I said, the more you're out there on the mat, the more things you're going to pick up, and it sometimes is difficult because you have to take your lumps. But I'll tell you, you can see his aggressiveness. That's going to help him in some situations.
So able to pick up another point, leading 3-2 now is Carlos Castro. You see Nelson getting way low, even down onto one knee. See, he kind of has a knee brace on that right knee, probably something he does quite often. He gets under, and I believe he'll get 2 points for that takedown. Yes, he will.
No back punch awarded. He didn't get him into that position where he had was exposing that back to the mat. So Carlos got out of that one, but he's still in a little bit of rough shape right now. This Roseville wrestler appears to be pretty experienced, understands exactly what he needs to do, and he's on top and working Carlos pretty hard.
So he's going to try and flip Carlos's back towards the mat again, but Castro able to get up and out and gets an escape point there to tie it at 4.
Yeah, I think that probably was more the Roseville wrestler saying, okay, I can't get him in the position I want him to, so I'm going to let him go and I'm going to start over.
A fortunate save by the bell there by Castro as he got himself into a tricky situation. And we're going to conclude period 1, start period 2 here, and it looks like it's going to be Castro in the offensive position. And Nelson trying to get off the mat, Castro on him. Nelson doing a pretty good job. Peyton Nelson now leading 6-4, getting 2 points at the end of that first period, I believe.
Just a little too high, and see what happens when you get a little too high. It's a quick reversal for Nelson.
And Nelson gets 2 points with that reversal. You saw him kind of arching his back there. Was that sort of trying to force Castro high as well and then slip under?
He felt like Carlos was up too high, and he could help him by, he could get through that, to get into that situation by kind of shrug him off and get underneath and get that reversal. When you get too high as a wrestler, you get too far up on that your opponent's body, it allows that opponent to change the balance, and all of a sudden now you're in difficulty. 2-point reversal for Castro.
Yeah, so far this one's been a good match. 40 seconds left to go, second period, 8-6.
I will tell you, I think Castro's strength is really helping him in this match.
Yeah, you can see he's maybe lost a couple points by not being so technically experienced, but he's made up for it. I think that, like you're saying.
I mean, he's aggressive. There's no doubt. That's what Coach Naz said too. He got himself in a situation that he's really in trouble here. There are the near fall points being counted off. Nelson's in great command right here. 6 seconds left. Can he fight back to keep himself from being pinned?
1 second.
Yep, good job. He fought it off, but still he's in little trouble. Nelson just got 3 points for a near fall, so it's at 13-6 going into the final period. The Roseville wrestler has a choice, and he chooses neutral, it looks like. So, there's the inexperience. Carlos goes down and is in the wrong position, gets a point awarded to the Roseville wrestler because he wasn't in the right spot. So.
And is that something you have to kind of wait until that decision is made, or you should know going into it?
And then the official will show you where you need to be. So he'll place you if you're down, in the down position for the start of a period. He's going to have you. He'll give you a hand position that'll help you figure out exactly when and where you need to be. So he just jumped in there, kind of assuming that he was going to be in the down position, and didn't work that way, and he lost a point.
That can actually be a scoring negative in wrestling.
It is, yeah.
I saw earlier in the match, Castro, it looked like when they were starting from the neutral position, he kind of lined up on the wrong side. They had to flip him over, so some of that inexperience maybe shining through.
Yep.
But doing a great job up against a real experienced and technically sound wrestler. 13-7, just over a minute left to go in the third and final period of this one. The 152-pound weight class. It's Carlos Castro of White Bear going against Peyton Nelson of Roseville. Now, what happens when one of the wrestlers leaves the circle?
Well, actually, you have to have both wrestlers will have to be out. Actually, I think it's 3 points need to be out of the mat before they'll stop the action and bring them back to the center. So, you can be both have a foot out but still have action. But if there's 3, then they'll stop it.
So let's say 2 feet from one wrestler and 1 from the other.
Yep, and then they'll stop it.
Or 2 feet and elbow, something like that.
Yeah.
So Nelson getting a few more points. Now has a 15-7 lead as we're down to about 10 seconds left to go in this one. Looks like he can probably just ride it out and get Roseville some points. Well, if he's able to pick up a pinfall, can get him a few more.
Nope.
Nice escape from Castro. And the buzzer sounds, and that'll make it 15-8, the final score. So good job by Castro getting that escape, avoiding the technical fall, and it'll only be 4 points awarded to Roseville. I should say 3 points awarded to Roseville.
Didn't get the major decision because of that quick escape at the end, and just got the regular decision for 3 points. So what do we have team-wise? It looks like 30-9. Tough to tell from up here. We're battling a batting cage to try to see the scoreboard, but
it is 39. Roseville with 1 fall and 1 decision to give them their 9 points. So we move on to 160 pounds.
Yep, Mitch Woodcock for White Bear Lake and Tamir Beeler for Roseville.
Woodcock a junior and Beeler is a senior for Roseville.
Mitch is one of our co-captains and has really gained a lot in his confidence as a wrestler the last couple of years. Really, really solid wrestler, understands what he needs to do. I think he's gained in his quickness. And I know that Coach Nasvik feels really good about his leadership ability.
No score here in the early going of this one. Both wrestlers grappling for position. Both wrestlers locked up. Beasler, you saw trying to go for those legs as Woodcock kind of defending, holding him off.
Did a good job of blocking that shot.
Oh, nice job switching. This one so far has started off as our closest, most even matchup.
I think they're both trying to figure out exactly what's going to work best for them. Mitch has tried a couple of shots, but he just about got stuck on that one. He's the more aggressive wrestler right now, and that kind of is his mode of operation. But you have to be careful with that aggressiveness as well. Sometimes that can get you in a little bit of trouble if that wrestler that you're against understands how to use that momentum of yours to work it against you.
So that'll be a scoreless first period. We talked about how sometimes you get wrestlers of different body types and shapes going against each other. In this one, it looks like these two are almost identical size.
Well, it's a good match. It's both of them have been trying. They've both tried shots, and they've defended those shots, and so it's going to be. I think it's going to be fairly close. Mitch is working hard to get that 1 point escape. Go back to the middle of the mat again.
And now, when they leave the ring like that, when they resume, do they return to how the period started?
Well, if there's no change of control, then they go to what the last bit of control was. If one wrestler was in control, then they'd go top and bottom basically, and then if neither wrestler was in control, then they'd start in neutral.
So you saw there the Roseville wrestler in control, kind of rode out, Woodcock out of bounds, and then when we resume, Beasler is on top again in the offensive position. And nice job, Woodcock getting up quick.
1 point escape.
Yeah, getting the 1 point, first registered point here in this match.
Nice quickness right there, but pretty good defense by Beeler as well.
Both wrestlers grappling for position.
So there's a warning for stalling on red.
It's tough to tell here which. I I think Roseville is just always red.
Yeah, they're the red team. Good shot right there, but defended pretty well by Woodcock. Yep, works it out, gets his body away from it, and defends well against that shot. Just a lot of hand fighting. They're trying to get position, and it's hard to take a shot when your opponent has your hand. You can't get around to grasp anything, grasp that leg or the thigh, whatever you're going for.
Now, with something like this, would you believe that both of these wrestlers kind of approach it similarly, have a similar style?
Yeah. It's hard to say. It seems like it. It sure seems like it. They're both taking those same kind of shots.
Yeah.
Now, there he got in. Beeler did a good job of getting in. 2-point takedown. Woodcock working for the escape.
And if you can get out of it, that'll be a big 1 point.
Okay, so there was a technical point awarded White Bear because the Roseville wrestler did something illegal. I'm not sure. I couldn't tell by the referee's motion what it was. Maybe if it was a clasp or what it was. But so it's 2-2.
That's a big point.
Even though we didn't get an escape.
And with 5 seconds left to go here, second period will be big if either of these wrestlers can get a point before this one sounds.
Nope.
And that'll do it for period 2. We'll have period 3 here in a second. 2-2, by far our closest matchup of the night.
So here's the nice thing about, when you have that last choice, if you're down, a lot of times that's the position you want to be in because it's a little easier to gain that 1 point for the escape than it is to hold on top. So we'll see if he can get that 1 point, and if he does, how soon it happens. There it is. He's got a reversal for 2.
Now, something like that, is he just rewarded points for the reversal and not an escape?
Right.
So it's just 2 points.
If you reverse it and you now are in control, you get 2 points for the reversal. If you escape the hold but don't take control, you get 1 for the escape.
So 4-3 now. Beasler leading for Roseville. Minute and a half left to go in the third and final period of the match. And Woodcock gets out of bounds. They'll resume neutral position.
Mitch is trying to set him up to get a shot at the legs, but Beeler's doing a good job of defending. Now there's no points awarded yet. Now Woodcock has 2.
He got 2 for the near fall, leads it now 5-4.
No, 2 on the takedown. I don't think he got near fall points, but he got 2 for the takedown.
So huge play there for Woodcock. It's a 5-4 lead now, less than a minute.
And there's a reversal now by Beeler for 2 points. He takes the lead 6-5.
Woodcock desperately trying to escape. And 3 points leave the circle. And we got 35 seconds. This is going to be big.
Well, a big question is, can he escape? That's the key. Can he escape and get it to overtime? Or get a
That's what we haven't seen yet. Give us more of a chance to educate our fan base.
Yeah. We're going to need a caller on that one.
So 20 seconds now. Woodcock needing 1 point to send it into overtime, 2 to win it. And Beasler doing a good job of keeping him down. 6 seconds now. 2 seconds. And Beasler holds on, and he's going to win it 6-5, gets the decision, and that'll be 3 points for Roseville. What a battle between those 2 wrestlers.
Good match. That was a great match, and I'll tell you what, just what we were talking about before. Mitch loses a tough match, shakes his hand, keeps his composure, comes off the mat, and is getting coached. And that's the way you need to be able to handle some adversity as a wrestler. And I'll tell you, it's the hardest thing when it's only you out there and you don't come through with that win. It's tough to react in a composed manner. That's a great job.
And it's definitely tough, something that close as well. If just a few things go the other way, then Mitch is winning.
So 170 match, we got John Aragon, and for Roseville, it's Alex LaPierre. And it looks like we have 2 points for the Roseville wrestler on that takedown right away.
And a couple of seniors wrestling here at the 170-pound class. I suppose that's something you might see a little bit as we go up in weight, maybe see a little bit more upperclassmen.
Yeah, I would say that's kind of a good general statement, though. You'll see some.
Not necessarily the case,
but yeah, it makes sense though.
I think that is one of the wonderful things about wrestling is that, with the weight classes, it doesn't really matter, how big or small you are. There
can be a spot
division
for
you to compete.
Yep, exactly.
Two to 1 in the early going. LaPierre leading for Roseville.
Oh, he's got a great position. Can he finish it off?
Going to try and get him on the back.
Aragon's looking to try to get a cradle in here. Just
see him hooking that leg. Is the idea here he just wants to flip him onto his back so his back is on the mat?
You're trying to get him over to get to his shoulders. Now he got a 2-point takedown, so Aragon's ahead 3-2 with about 30 seconds left in this period. Yeah.
Cradles him over the other way.
He had some, they counted off some near fall points, so it looks like John's going to get a couple of points for a near fall. And then there's an escape by LaPierre.
So 4-3 now. Not sure if they got.
That's 5-4. 5-4. Yep, there it is. Aragon's ahead with just a couple seconds left in the first period.
That'll do the first period. So 5-4. Aragon leading.
So now they're having a little consultation over here at the scorers table just to make sure they have the score correct. Coaches can approach the table and ask the official to come to the table for different kind of clarifications. But there's kind of a formal way that you do that as a coach and an official.
You don't just run out on the mat screaming at the referee.
Well, you can, and then you'll get a team point deducted, and that's not what you want. And you may not be coaching the next match either, depending how bad it gets. So that's a potentially dangerous hold. So they break the hold, and they come back to the middle. And if he was in control, there'll be he'll be up, and the other wrestler will be down because John had control. He'll be in the up position.
Almost an escape from LaPierre.
Oh.
Almost had him down.
And there's a 1-point escape for LaPierre, so 5-4. Aragon with the lead. He's looking a little tired at this point. We'll see if he's able to stay with it. Yep. 2-point takedown, 1-point escape. I think we're at 6-6 now.
Aragon trying to throw him. And now Aragon with the cradle on top, trying to flip LaPierre.
He's trying to get control for points, and there's no points. LaPierre, I think, has a leg. John has the top. So I think that there.
Flip.
It's a nice.
And now LaPierre on top.
There's no. Why? Now I gave him 2 points. 2 points for the takedown. Has not counted off any near fall points. Up there he goes.
There's 3.
And that's 5 right there. So now he's got 3 points for near fall. John's in a little bit of trouble now. The Roseville wrestler definitely has good position. He's trying to force those shoulders down to the mat. Oh, there it is. I thought he was going to do it first, and the referee kind of double clutch, but it's a nice job by the Roseville wrestler for the pin.
A pinfall to Roseville. That'll be 6 more points headed the Raiders' way. That'll make it 32-18 after the pinfall and the 6 points.
You can be the math guy.
I know. I was just trying
to
I
see.
had to double check my sources. Yeah, I wasn't sure which scoreboard was updated correctly. And as you mentioned, we're kind of peering through a few obstacles to see the scoreboards here up on the perch. So we're getting into this will be what 182. So 30-18, White Bear leading team score as we're getting things underway in the 182-pound weight class.
Sudebeck for White Bear, and I think it's Schweitzer for Roseville.
That's Josh Sudebeck for White Bear, an 11th grader.
Oh, turn him over. Rolled him through. Got 2 points for Sudebeck on the takedown.
Sudebeck stays in control. Sudebeck staying in control. As Thomas Schweitzer from Roseville trying to do something. Schweitzer, a senior. Flipped over, Schweitzer on top now, but not in control, trying to do something. But nice job by Sudebeck. Sudebeck gets the pinfall.
Nicely done. Josh I think this is his first varsity year, so he's trying to gain that experience. That's a heck of a job by him.
That'll help his chances on the varsity level. Nice job, as it looked like Schweitzer there was doing a good job, almost escaping a few of those holds. But the pinfall will go to Sudebeck. The points go to White Bear, and that'll make it 36-18 as we head to 195 and get ready to wrestle.
Looks like we're a little scoring snafu here. This table is not quite ready. Yeah, that was a good fall. That's a big fall by Josh.
Yeah, Roseville winning a couple matches there in a row, getting the pinfall on the match before that one. So good for White Bear to get some more points on the board, increase that lead.
I think right now there's a question of who's actually out there for Roseville. I'm not sure if they sometimes it's difficult. We were talking about this before the match started about your ability to put different people in the lineup based on their weight. So I'm not sure if that was what the concern was about over there, but I think everything's straightened out. We're just trying.
Now, would there be an issue if you tried to put a wrestler out there that you didn't present before?
There could be. Yes, there could be. Looks like we're having some equipment problems now.
Referee seems to have an issue with one of the
shoes. Yeah. So I suppose they're going to end up taping it.
And with that, we're going to pause and take a little break and remind our viewers of some of the other great programming here on Location TV 19. And that, of course, is Your Business Matters with your host, Tom Snell. And every month, Tom Snell and the White Bear Lake Chamber of Commerce bringing a guest who is either a business owner in White Bear or has some connection to White Bear. It's a nice 20-minute show that kind of tells you about everything, about issues affecting many local business owners. So catch that on TV 19. It looks like we're ready to get back to the action.
I think I went to school with Tom Snell, by the way.
Nice. We're keeping.
I might have to watch that show.
Yeah, please do. It's one of our great programs we always have on here. You can catch it on YouTube as well.
All right.
And you got to keep that White Bear Lake Bear pride alive.
Exactly. I think that was a tech. No, they're not. There's zero. It was incorrect.
It looks like the score is 2-0 now.
2-0.
Had a question there on the scoreboard.
I think this is Brandon Kreckelberg, and he is in great position right now. They're trying to get that shoulder back down. He's got it. Can't tell if that's a cradle. It kind of looks like it is. I'm not sure if it's exactly technically right, but he's working it hard and gets the fall. That's a big fall for him.
Yeah, that was quick. As he took out Zeb Koth, the sophomore from Roseville. Nice job by Brandon Kreckelberg, the junior from White Bear Lake. Gets 6 more points to the Bears. They lead at 42-18. as we head to the 220-pound weight class. So we're getting into the big boys now. White Bear Lake with a big lead. Not sure if we're mathematically past that point, but I'm pretty sure we are. My Minnesota math.
But they want to keep,
while,
you know, I think well, I think that White Bears got plenty of points to win this. The key for them, though, is to get 2 real good efforts out of their last 2 matches.
That'll be a good start as a takedown.
Yeah, Luke Parzik.
Parzik
Quick
wrestling,
takedown.
the
He's
sophomore for
a sophomore,
White Bear.
big kid, played a lot of football. I know he's a very good athletic kid, and Coach Nasvik thinks pretty highly of him.
I was going to say, looks pretty spry for a kid his size. And Parzik only a sophomore as well.
Lost in the finals of the section last year as a freshman, so he knows what he's doing out there.
So possibly a future heavyweight
could be
contender down the line for White Bear in the years to come. And hopefully a force on that football field as well.
They like him in football. I know that, talking to Coach Bartlett. They really feel that he's going to be a really good player as the years go by. He's got 2 more years to play for the Bears, and they're looking forward to it.
Yeah, I saw some exciting stuff from the Bear football team this fall. Some innovative offensive things.
Yeah, it was a tough year on the scoreboard for us, but I will tell you this, that we have kids that, I mean, they were they worked hard all the time. They were very resilient. They didn't let anything get them down. I think that they would almost to a man say they really enjoyed the season, and that's what this is about. We want to be competitive in every scoreboard that we're on, but we also want to have kids that I think that everybody realizes it's a game, and the kids play because the number one reason is they like it, they have fun, and we've got to be able to coach to that a little bit too.
Yeah, you can tell the kids definitely bought in and had a good time as they had a great result against Rosemount, although it ended their season, but turned around.
Played really well.
Yeah, you know, the team they lost to by a lot more at the beginning of the season, only losing by a touchdown.
And we had the ball and going in to score. We just couldn't finish it off. But
especially against a #1 rated seed in 6A. I mean, that is no small task. That's a good football team. So positive things on the horizon for White Bear Lake football.
I think everybody's looking forward to it. We know we have some really good sophomore and junior kids coming up that are going to be good players on probably a lot of different teams, not just football, wrestling, basketball, track, baseball. We're looking forward to those two groups, and we've got some great senior leadership as well. So, you know, there's some good things happening at White Bear.
Yeah, you do like to see that about White Bear. Almost every athlete I cover, they play another sport, a lot of multi-sport athletes. I think that's important at this age too. A lot of times people, you know, say you should emphasize one or just get good at one, but I'm kind of a proponent of playing multiple sports actually helps you.
There's some real interesting statistics and some data on being a multi-sport athlete. I think one of the things is that when you cross-train, your body doesn't get worn out as quickly, and I think that that's very important. And, you know, Urban Meyer puts out an interesting statistic every recruiting season, and he looks at the number of kids that are Division I athletes and have been given scholarships and the percentage of them that are multi-sport athletes, and it is an amazingly huge percentage of kids that are Division I athletes that are scholarshiped, and they didn't just play one sport.
Yeah, I'm sure you could even say that at the pro level too. I mean, you see a lot of those pro players played multiple sports as well. Well, back to things here on the mat. Looking good for White Bears. They got a 4-0 lead through Luke Parzik in the 220-pound weight class. Under 40 seconds left to go here, second period. That 4-0 lead, as I said, you see on your scoreboard, White Bear with a 42-18 team lead. So comfortably in control.
Sometimes in the bigger weights, you're not going to get quite as much action because they're maybe a little bit thicker, bigger muscled kids that aren't able to do the real quick twitch types of moves, but there's a lot of power here, and sometimes that power takes a while for it to wear down that opponent, so you may not see the real quick stuff in this weight class, but you're going to see a lot of power in this weight class.
When you say power, would you say you would see a lot more reversals, things like that in this weight class?
I think you're going to see takedowns, and then you're going to see working them to the back, getting the elbow or the arm, and really trying to get those pins and using their weight to an advantage, because it can really wear you down. Just like we're in this position, when that person on top weighs 220 pounds and you're trying to get him off of you or stop him from pinning you, you're using a lot of energy, and it can wear on you quickly.
Just trying to grind them out, tire them out,
Yep,
and then hopefully, you know,
you bet. And then all of a
that
sudden,
one moment you can pounce and
yep,
get the pin.
Exactly. You get your opponent tired, and you can use your power to force them into a situation where you can get a pin.
Parzak had to start this period out in the defensive position. He's a little wrapped up, but looking like he might be able to get out of it.
He's working the position pretty good, but he was trying to get, again, we saw that earlier on where the wrestler got a little bit high on the person on the bottom, and that bottom person was able to scoot out. I think he was trying for that, but didn't quite work out. Good escape. Yep. 5-0. Minute 20 seconds left in the third period.
Both wrestlers locked up.
This is what you see a little bit in the heavier weights a lot, but that's a nice shrug.
That's
and,
a 2-point takedown.
Gets the takedown. Now you're going to see him really work some of that power. Try to get that opponent to his back, whether it's a half Nelson that he's using or if he wants to get an arm bar in or whatever he decides to do.
Would you say it's important at these higher weight classes to maybe get an early lead?
I think that's the way it is in heavyweight for sure. If you get that early lead, it's pretty hard. Especially if that heavyweight at 280 pounds or whatever is on top of you and you're trying to work to get out and he's got a 2-point takedown advantage, you could be in trouble.
I mean, just watching these two right now, you know, and looking like Parzak able, you know, probably content with just sort of, you know, being on
well,
top
he was working it. I think there was a stalling point on the Roseville wrestler because he wasn't doing anything. So Luke said, okay, I'm going to let him go, give him a point, but I'm coming back to get some points, and there's a 2-point takedown right there. Talk about throws. That's kind of as close to a throw as you get in this high school wrestling, the collegiate style.
3 seconds now left to go in the third period, and that'll do it as Parzak wins at 9-1.
It's that 8-point major decision.
That'll be 4 points awarded to
for the team.
All right, I'm starting to nail this.
You bet. You got it.
46 now for White Bear in total.
Now we just need a calculator to get everything straight, and we're going to be in great shape for the next one.
If only they were all pinfalls. I could add
if everyone was
six.
a pin, that'd be pretty quick. We'd be out of here fast, and you can get your multiplication tables working. You'd have no problem.
That's right. Do a little bit of math in the process. So we're up to 285 heavyweights. This will be our final weight class of the evening.
Coach Nasvik's mat is taking a beating. I'm going to get a call tomorrow.
But, you know, I bet Coach would rather his mat take a beating than his
team. Yeah, well.
And with that quick pause, we're also going to tell you about Inside Healthcare. That's Jody Ritaka bringing you a monthly show providing tips and up-to-date info on healthcare issues that primarily relate to women's health. That is Inside Healthcare here on TV 19. And we are ready to get back to the action with the heavyweights. No score to start as we're just underway.
This is for White Bear, it's Giesman. And for Roseville, I think this is Peterson.
So Dominic Giesen, the senior for White Bear Lake. And William Peterson, sophomore from Roseville. As we said, team score already wrapped up. White Bear won that.
Yeah, it's just a matter of what the final score will be. This is a good win for the Bears. We talked about it being a conference win and really puts you, it's a section win. And so when they're in the seeding for the section as far as the team tournament goes, this will be a big win for the Bears.
And you mentioned that team tournament now. When it comes to playoff time, in the state of Minnesota, wrestlers wrestle both individually and in team competitions.
So the first thing you have is a team competition, and then the next weekend you will. So this is near the end of February. They'll have a team section tournament, and then they'll have after that the next week they'll have an individual tournament so that you determine first a team winner of the section who goes to the state tournament, and then you'll get the first and second place winners. Or placers. The first place and the second place wrestlers in each one of the weight categories will then advance to the state tournament as well.
And the team competition at that level, is it going to be like this, where you kind of have two teams
Yes.
with all the weight classes just dual,
Yep.
what they call a dual?
Right, it's a dual match all the way through. So every team will be seated, and I think there'll probably be a few wrestle-ins, and then you'll get the top 6 to 8 teams, and then they'll just wrestle to the top 2, and the top 2 will wrestle, and the winner of that match will go to the state tournament.
So a lot of times, with those better teams, you'll have individuals competing both at the team level and in the individual competition.
That's correct. You'll get some of that. But the nice thing about having the individual tournament, as well as some of those kids whose teams may not be as strong, but they're very good wrestlers, they're going to have the opportunity to go to the state tournament as well. So that's, I think, the nice thing about wrestling.
Yeah, we profiled wrestler Louis Varlin last year out of North St. Paul. I believe that was the case for him.
Yep.
Any White Bear Lake wrestlers that you see making a postseason run, possibly making a state tournament run as an individual?
Well, it's pretty hard to say, but I would say that, Matt Muteking probably has a real good shot at it. The way that a couple of the kids wrestled today, I thought was pretty good. Jarrell Turner looked pretty good. I think, it's so hard to say. This is like the second week of competition for our team, and so they're not even close to being in mid-season form. But if you look at the bench and you look at the past history, I'd say Matt has a great shot at competing to go to that state tournament.
So no score after the first period here in the heavyweight division. Geisman from White Bear Lake going against William Peterson from Roseville. As White Bear Lake has wrapped up the team score, Peterson getting 2 points for the reversal there, now in control. White Bear Lake wrapped up the team victory, getting their first conference victory and a victory over section opponent, as you mentioned, Tim. So positives here in the early season.
Lots of matches to go. And there's lots of tough matches to be had as well. Coach Nasvik puts together a pretty good schedule, so they're going to see a lot of kids. They go to a couple of big tournaments. Rummel and the Reds a fun one up in Fargo where we bring our individuals up to compete, and there's a ton of great wrestling up there. So our kids will get a lot of good shots. They'll be seasoned when they get to the section tournament, but there's a long way to go yet.
And what about the history of the Suburban East and this section? Any teams that are kind of perennial powerhouses in wrestling?
Well, I think we've seen Woodbury, Stillwater, White Bear Lake kind of have been the teams that you see compete at the end in those section tournaments to get to the state. Since I've been here 7 years, all 3 of those teams have gone. So there's a good group of team wrestling in the SEC, and there's also some very good individual wrestlers as well.
Looks like some near fall points leading to the pinfall as Peterson will get the 6 points.
That's a great way
victory for him.
Yeah, great way for the Raiders to end. A good pin, but overall, really a good, solid match for White Bear Lake. I think they probably surprised Coach Nasvik a little bit. The final, you got your math, looks like 46-24, White Bear Lake.
That does appear to be what the scoreboard here in the North Campus Gymnasium is reading.
And it's a good win at home, good win on Teacher Appreciation Night, and they'll be revved up to continue on. I'm sure they've got some matches in the near future. It'll be fun to watch them. Thanks a lot for the opportunity. I think I probably confused people more than I helped them, but it was fun to be able to talk wrestling for a while.
Oh, well, you definitely helped me out a lot. It was an absolute privilege, Tim. Want to thank you once again. For everyone here at TV19 Sports, want to thank you for watching this presentation of high school wrestling right here on TV19 Sports. We'll see you next time.